ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So, welcome everyone for today's session. So, yesterday we were discussing about chapter renunciation of the Kardam Muni. 24. No, sorry, Devahuti Lamentation was the chapter name. So, in this chapter, we saw yes how Kardamuni became very pleased with Devahuti's service, and we saw that she served Kardamuni like a Bhavani serving Bhava. Bhava means Lord Shiva. So Bhavani serving Bhava in the similar way, Devahuti serving Kardamuni. So Vishrambhena Atma Sauchena, Sauhrdena, Gauravena, and then Vacha Madhuraya Chabho. So these are the symptoms of any wife, or the qualities of any wife serving her husband in a proper way. So we saw that. And then after getting pleased by her service, Kardamuni offered her benediction that I will show you something which is beyond reach of modern, or you can say beyond reach of the whole demigods and the siddhas and the earthly people. So they cannot attain such benediction which I am going to show you. So that is the love of Godhead, realization of the absolute truth. So that is fearless, abhayam, fearlessness, which Devahuti is going to ask. Today we are going to read that. So that he was ready to give beforehand. So only love of Godhead, which is eternal and which is beyond the reach of anything material. So it cannot be finished by fear and lamentation. So nothing can finish love of Godhead. Fear and lamentation can also not. Money can be finished, and possessions can be finished, One's post position, one's body can be finished, one's family can be finished, one's country can be finished, but nothing uh, can finish love of Godhead. So, but Devahuti, she got little embarrassing feeling because she had a desire, some material desire, like she was a wife and she wanted to have a son. So we saw that the father's quality is represented as a son. So father, so Prabhupada says that actually, even if father takes sannyas, so then father, he has not gone away if he has given a son. So he is there in the form of a son with mother actually. So he takes care of mother. So then she wanted that I am a chaste wife, you are a powerful husband. So then the chaste wife, powerful husband should produce a progeny which will basically glorify both of us. So that thing I want. So she wanted basically children. So then Devahuti request Kadam Muni for a child, and then she also said that make a suitable arrangement for this thing to happen. So then Kadam Muni immediately, and she was emaciated because of her long service, and she did not take care of her body. So then Kardamuni, because of his, he felt very compassionate on her, and then he created immediately aerial mansion. So this aerial mansion was very astonishing. And so we read yesterday also that the kind of opulence it had. Emerald was the floors were made up of emerald, and the diamonds, the walls were diamonds, and on those diamonds the rubies were there like eyes kept in the white eye, surface of eye. There is a black pupil. So in a similar way, the rubies were there. They were put on the diamond wall, and many birds, different kind of birds, and some statue birds were also there. Many festoons, flags, different kinds of silk, small cocoon silk, big cocoon silk. So, and many varieties were there, and then thousand maid servants were there to assist Devahuti in cleaning her. So then they, after seeing the aerial mansion, even Kardamuni was astonished by seeing his, how I can produce such a thing. And then Devahuti was little fearful, or she was not understanding how I am so emaciated, so weak, how I can go into this palace and then have a enjoyment with my husband. So then, understanding her mind, Kardamuni said that you please go and take bath in the Sarovar, the Bindu Sarovar. And when she went there, she found many thousands of maids. They were ready to serve her, and they requested, please order us how to serve. And then they nicely bathed her and put all the kinds of ornaments and the different medicines and oils in her bathing, and completed her bathing, purified her totally complete, and she got rejuvenated in her strength, in her physical strength, mental strength, everything. And after that she desired to see her husband. Immediately she was brought by her yogic power. So everything was happening by yogic power. And then Kardamuni taking her hand, then he entered into the aerial mansion, and then they started pleasure trip. So pleasure trip, then they went to the Sumeru mountain. Sumeru mountain. So he went to many places where demigods. We saw that 8 kinds of demigods have ruling upon this Sumeri mountain, where they have their pleasure spots or pleasure places. So these are handed over to 8 demigods. So we saw yesterday the names of demigods and the direction also. So basically, okay. So Prabhupada also mentions that because Kardamuni was not a conditioned soul, so he was not restricted just because demigods are restricted to move in their own planets, or some little more extra planets, but he was not restricted to any kind of restriction in the universe. He surpassed all demigods, Gandharvas, Siddhalokas, and he took her wife everywhere, many places. It's not mentioned that he took to Brahmalok because it's a very high planet. So surely he must have gone to Siddhalok, or so Swargalok he has already gone, Swarga and other things. So It's like that. So he has taken her wife all these places, and then after coming back, also it's mentioned that he did not lose the sense of his control of his senses, even though he was surrounded by thousands of maids and he was looking like a moon among stars. He comes back to his hermitage, and then he divides himself to nine forms, and then he has a union with his wife, and then he produces nine daughters. Immediately they are born. They are not like taking some month to be born. No, immediately they are born, and these daughters were having beautiful limbs, nicely made up, and their body were rose scented, smelling very nicely. So like this. So nine daughters were born, and then after that he wants to leave. So here we were discussing. So because he had promised to her father that once I produce child, I will finish off my family life. I will go away, and then your daughter has to live with the children. So then Devahuti says that her lamentation basically. So she was smiling outwardly, but she was having a agitation in mind that if he goes away, then who will take care of me? Because daughters will get married, they will go away, and then who will take care of me? So her agitation or her worry was genuine. Mm. And so he wanted to request him that you stay for more days and you give me a son, so that he would take care. So that was the whole thing. So we'll be reading that part. I don't know how why devotees are in very few number. इतना कम number कैसे? Who is in charge for this batch? Means coordinator. पांच ही लोग हैं. चार चार ही. Okay. So we'll continue from 50th verse. So okay, Parmeshwari Mataji, you can read. You can read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu.
लिखन्ति अधोमुखी भूमिन् पदानखमनिश्रिया उवाच ललितां वाचं निरुध्याश्रुकलां शनैः.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Translation. She stood and scratched the ground with her foot, which was radiant with the luster of her gem like nails. Her head bent down. She spoke in slow yet charming accents, surprising her tears. Suppressing her tears. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada says that uh, when Krishna called gopis, so they also had a similar situation that they were also scratching the ground because Krishna said, in dead of night, why have you come? You go back now. So Krishna agitated them first to come, and now Krishna was testing them, what they are saying. So they were disturbed in their minds. So they were scratching the ground with their toes. So here she is also disturbed in her mind and she is scratching. Okay. देवहूतेरुवाच सर्वं तद् भगवान् मह्यम् उपोवाह प्रतिश्रुतम् अथापि मे प्रपन्नाय अभयं दातुम् अर्हसि.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Sri Devahuti said, My Lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me. Yet, because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too.
So this is a word we are discussing. Abhayam datum arhasi. So she is asking for fearlessness. So as we were discussing yesterday also, everybody is fearful in this material world. Yes. So there can be fear of death, which is the highest fear. There can be fear of losing one property, fear of failure, fear of insult, fear of blasphemy. Means somebody should not blaspheme, or I should not blaspheme somebody. So there can be fear from our own conditionings, and from others conditionings we may get a hurt, or the nature's way how it works. So now fear of death or fear of some disease, so many kinds of fear is always there. So now she is asking fearlessness, the abhayam sattva samsuddhi jnana yoga bhavasthiti so this is one of the quality of a renounced order person, that he has to develop fearlessness by living alone. Especially the sannyasis, they have to live alone in forest also, depending, having faith on Paramatma, that Paramatma will save him. Hmm. Like we find Bharat Maharaj, when he was performing, uh, when he left his kingdom and he went to Gandaki river, the Nepal place where he was performing his uh, tapasya, his austerity, his devotional service. So he was sitting near the Gandaki river and he should take bath early in the morning and then again Trisandhyam. So that time, a tiger, a deer first came and she was drinking water early in the morning when he was doing his sadhana, and then the tiger roared, or lion roared, whatever. And then when the deer heard, she immediately jumped across the stream of water to save herself. She thought that lion must be very near to her, and in that endeavor, she got miscarriage and the child of the deer fell down. So here we can find, even though they were the lions, they were tigers in the forest, but Bharat Maharaj, he was not fearful. He was just doing sadhana, and just out of concern for this dove or this deer, he just went to pick up that small child. He could not save the mother. So we can find the great great sannyasis or renunciates, they used to live in the forest, fearless. So now Devahuti is also living in one kind forest only, because Hermitage is in forest, and she does not want fearlessness just some physical protection, but fearlessness from everything, from mental, physical, in all kind of worries. Prabhupada says how one awards fearlessness to a subordinate is mentioned in the fifth canto. One who cannot get free from clutches of death is dependent, and he should not become a spiritual master, nor a husband, nor a kinsman, nor a father, nor a mother, etc. It is the duty of a superior to give fearlessness to the subordinate. To take charge of someone, therefore, either as father, mother, spiritual master, relative, or husband, one must accept the responsibility to give the ward freedom from the fearful situation of material existence. Material existence is always fearful and full of anxiety. So therefore she is saying, you have given me all sorts of material comforts by your yogic power, and now since you are now prepared to go away, you must give me the last awards so that I may get free from material conditional life. So she is so clever, she is so intelligent, because she knew the power of her husband. That he is not an ordinary person, he can immediately deliver love of Godhead, he can immediately deliver liberation, salvation, anything, because he is very much powerful. So she is asking the right commodity from her husband. She is feeling I am cheated, that I have been given material comfort, children have come, home is there. So Kadamuni gave the aerial mansion, big aerial mansion, very fantastic, and still she is not satisfied. So important to be noted here. Today people just think that if I can have 2 BHK 3 BHK home and nice salary package, mm, and some children, and they are nicely educated, and husband is doing job, wife is also doing something, life is very peaceful. This is a concept, this is a materialistic concept. Mm. Where is the question of peace actually? Because the soul is not taken care. Hmm. When soul is not taken care, like one person was drowning, and he was just shouting, save me, save me, save me, and the person heard, and he just ran to him, and he took out his clothes out, and then he said, oh, I have saved, and then the person drowned and died. So he saved the cloth, the कपड़े को बचाया, but person को नहीं बचाया. Hmm. So whosoever our protector, our maintainer is there in life, Prabhupada says here, anybody who is a fearful or who is in clutches of death is a dependent. So we are dependent, and So anybody who takes charge of us, they can only provide us physical necessities, to some extent mental satisfaction. But who provides us the freedom from clutches of death? Hmm. So that is a real master actually. And therefore one should keep that real master's instructions above all other masters, so-called masters. Hmm. But when we do not do that, that is called dharma siglani. Hmm. This is a dharma siglani. Therefore Krishna says, Sar dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. Hmm. So basically, to make us understand that spiritual life is of highest priority, and because the soul is a prime mover of the body, in a similar way, like a super soul is moving the whole world. If whole world is not there, what can be there? We cannot live also. We cannot breathe also. So in one sense, the soul is most important, and out of our basic necessities, we may sometimes give more regard to the externals or material things, but after certain time one should understand that now I should give time to spirit more than body. That's why Devahuti, after she enjoyed for so many years, she had children also, now she had an understanding, now everything is finished, now I want abhayam. So there's a time for enjoyment, there's a time for renunciation. Hmm. And one should not but yes, control of senses is always one should have. So but here it's mentioned, as in the family life there's a time for renunciation, that is called vanprastha, means retired life. And there's time for enjoyment, that is called grihast life. So Devahuti is at the position now that now husband is going, means he is now taking sannyas. It's like, so now Devahuti also needs something for herself. So but in today's time people are not knowledgeable, so they think that whole life they have to work. Hmm. Work, worry, that is called want. You have, if you have want, then you work, and when you work you become worry, and when you worry you weep, you start crying. So want, work, and worry and weep. www like that. Okay. Brahman, Brahman duhitrabhistuभ्यम विमृग्यापतयः समा कश्चित् स्यान्मे विशोकाय त्वयि प्रवर्जिते वनम्.
Hare Krishna. Translation. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi?
Mm. Yes. Yes, here Prabhupada says that it is said that father himself becomes the son in another form. The father and son are therefore considered to be non-different. A widow who has her son is actually not a widow because she has a representative of her husband. Then Prabhupada mentions that a householder is not expected to remain at home for all his days. After getting his sons and daughters married, a householder can retire from household life, leaving his wife in the charge of the grown-up sons. That is the social convention of Vedic system. Devahuti is indirectly asking, in absence from the home, that there be at least one male child to give her relief from her anxieties. This relief means spiritual instruction. Relief does not mean material comfort. Material comfort will end with the end of body, but spiritual instructions will not end. It will go on with the spirit soul. Instruction on the spiritual advancement is necessary, but without having a worthy son, how can Devahuti advance in spiritual knowledge? It is the duty of the husband to liquidate his debt to his wife. The wife gives her sincere service to the husband, and he becomes indebted to her, because one cannot accept service from his subordinate without giving him something in exchange. The spiritual master cannot accept service from the disciple without awarding him spiritual instruction. That is a reciprocation of love and duty. Thus, Devahuti reminds her husband Kardamuni that she has rendered him faithful service. Even considering the situation on the basis of liquidating his debt towards his wife, he must give a male child before he leaves. So he should remain for a few more days. So like that, he is requesting to have a child now. So this is a Vedic system actually. So clear that when one should enter in family life, one when one should how one should live a family life, how one should produce children, and then what is the duty of father, what is the duty of mother, then when father should retire for his spiritual progress, and what assistant he should leave behind for his wife, so that she also remain free from anxieties. That anxiety does not mean only material comforts but spiritual instructions. hmm, Very clear. Therefore, Vedic life people were quite successful because there was a pattern of success. Success pattern was made, and you find in today's time also, like we have education system that has made some pattern. Yes, first class, second class, third class, fourth class, then till 12th class one has to study, and then after that he has to do graduation. So there's a pattern made, and so the education also has become successful in modern times.
Hari Hari.
But the problem is our pattern of Vedic times included everything, not only job education but also education for character, for culture, according to varna and ashrama. And then people used to take up to the ashram in the right age, and so therefore they were successful in beginning their ashrama and ending their ashrama and going to the next ashrama, like that. So this is a very nice, Prabhupada says, the social convention of Vedic system. Now in Kali Yuga, people they do not follow this convention, and so therefore so many problems are existing. Mm. So many problems. Actually, therefore it is said that प्रायेण अल्पायुषः सभ्य कलावस्मिन् युगे जना मंद सुमंद मतियो मंद भाग्य है उपद्रता. Mand bhagya is we are mand bhagya means we are unfortunate people because we have taken shelter of the country. We have been born in this country or anywhere we are born, especially in Kali Yuga, same situation. So now the government not responsible, parents not responsible, brahmanas not responsible. So therefore the people are falling prey to many bad habits actually, many bad habits. Why? Because at certain age what they should be doing, what education they should be getting, which ashram they should be inside, these are not properly guided, and so they fall prey to the attraction of something else which they should be already, if protected they will not fall prey to, but which is not, if they are not protected they will fall prey, and so incidents, accidents happen. Hmm. So like that. So how much important, at least to some extent, Srila Prabhupada mentions in first canto, then how which ashram should begin, like especially the Grahastha ashram should begin. Prabhupada says from the age of a 20 for a girl and for 24 for a boy. Hmm. In modern times he says like that. If that is made, then that is so very successful. Otherwise there are so many mishaps happening, girlfriend, boyfriends, dating, so many wrong things are happening. And then people, when they become attached to some, like a boy becoming attached to girl, girl becoming attached to boy, and then there's a breakage of such a relationship, so too much disturbance happen, too much disturbance, and they are like a fragile people coming in the youth. They have not seen the world, but they have mistaken. Why they have mistaken? Because they are they were told that you have to do lot of study till the age of 30 or 35, then you will be married. So then the person thinks, then what about my desires which I have right now? Like Devavati has a desire, she is feeling lust for her husband because she is the wife of her husband and she has a duly been married. So now he has to provide the child. In a similar way, when the girls and the boys, when they are growing in the youth, so at the time of marriage they should be united, they should be married properly. But these people, foolish people, they are putting in education system, you become doctor, you become this, you become that, you do job for so many years, until the time their desires keep increasing and then they start doing the wrong things. Problem is this. So we are not taking care of their growing mental situations, and so therefore problem happens and the whole future life becomes disturbed just because of job, money. So money has dismantled the whole social system, because money is not so important. Money is only important to run the necessities of the life, and that should be so nicely managed in the country by the king that people should not have so much worries. You now you understand people, those who have to do IIT, they are going into the foundation course from the 8th class, from 6th class. Huh? They are doing foundation courses. So much worried about money. We have to do job, we have to do job. Huh? So much tension, and the tension does not finishes. Like recently we heard that 9 lakhs engineers are passed, and then only 93,000 are placed in job. So 9 lakhs are passing and 93,000 are placed in job. So what about the 8 lakhs people, 8 lakh and 7,000 people? They are not placed in job by colleges. So even after spending a lot of money and doing a lot, and the devotee was saying ki even PhD IIT PhD person, he is also not getting job. He is also running. He just finding out the job. So this is such a ridiculous system actually. It has no guarantee, no certainty actually. Just wastage of money, wastage of time, wastage of our energy. And still these people are claiming they are very advanced people, and they are dismantling the life of the people. Whole Varnashram has been finished. So this is the biggest mistake which modern man is doing in the name of money and education. एतावतालं कालेन व्यतिक्रान्तेन मे प्रभो इन्द्रियार्थप्रसङ्गेन प्रतीयत्यक्तपरात्मनः.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Until now, we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord.
Hmm. Human life is not meant to be wasted like animals. So animals, we know that आहार निद्रा भय मैथुनम च समान एतत् पशुभि नराणाम धर्मो हि तेषा अधिको विशेष धर्मे न हीन पशुभि समान. So what equates human and animals? This four activity: sense like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So these four activity animals also do, humans also do. But animals, they are by instinct, by nature made like that they have to do that only. And humans, by nature, they are made that they can do these activities, they will do. But more important than these activities, that they will cultivate dharma, they will cultivate spirituality, because they have been given freedom. Animals, they are not having free will, they don't have free will, but humans have free will. Many times this is a problem in you can say, like, when people, civilized, so-called civilized people in the world, I think we heard that he was saying, Kardam Muni was saying, Lokana Lokanugata Pasumscha Hitva Charanat Patram. He was saying that the prayer to Lord Vishnu in previous chapter. When somebody is just calling himself civilized, but he has not taken shelter of the Lord, what is the use of such kind of life? So civilized life means just stereotype life. Okay, getting born, okay, do education, then go to, and then go for job, and then go for marriage. So this is a very like stereotype life. So he says, ki in that we have not taken shelter of you Lord, my Lord, we have not taken your shelter. So what is the use of such a life? That life, even if you are living, will be suffering, because we have not taken shelter of Charanat Patram, umbrella of your lotus feet. We have not taken shelter. So this is very important. Many times the civilized people, dharmic people, so-called dharmic people, they think that they are doing dharma, but actually their whole goal is dharma artha kama. Hmm. But our goal is not dharma artha kama. Prabhupada says our goal is prema pumartho mahan, nivritti marg. There are two marg: pravritti marg, nivritti marg. Pravritti marg means dharma artha kama, moksha, and nivritti marg means uh, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam. This is Nivritti Marg. Direct, we are taking to devotional service. Nivritti Marg. Vairagya Vidya Nij Bhakti Yogam. Sikshartam Ekam Purusha Purana. So our process is Vairagya Vidya. And the regular process followers, like Vedic people, they follow Dharma Artha Kama. So we are not interested in that. So not only those who are living like an animal, not following any dharma, but even those who are following dharma called civilized people, we don't want to follow them also, because they are also focused on sense gratification, going to heavenly planets, uh, and then like Kardamuni showed all these things, but he was not interested in all those things. He just was entertaining his wife, basically. So we are concerned with the prema pumartho mahan, saranam kirtanam vishnu smaranam pada sevanam, archanam bandanam dasam sakhyam atmanivedam. Iti pumsarpito vishnu bhaktischenava lakshana. Create bhagavat adhya tanmanne dhita uttamam. This is the best of the learning, best of the education. So what is the best education? Best education that one understand ki how by pleasing Lord Vishnu in my life I can be happy, and I can get perfection in my next life also. I can be happy now, I can be happy later. This is a mindset of successful people. They think in that way. How I can be happy now, how I can be happy tomorrow. And Lord gives the solution like that. Selfish people think how I can be happy in this world by hook and crook. I don't want to follow any rules, regulations. Just I want to be happy. And successful people think how I can be happy properly in this world, and how I can be happy properly in next world. So therefore they take shelter of the Lord. So in effect, Devahuti said to her husband, so far we have these daughters and we have enjoyed material life in a real mansion. So now there must be something for my spiritual advancement. So one should inquire, like that. Another thing, like there, sometimes people think, okay, in India, this is a basic misnomer, or you not misnomer, will say that wrong understanding. The people think that when we get old, then only we'll do bhakti. So here, this illustration we should not take from. What she is telling, okay, now we have done family life, now let us have a spiritual life. No, it's not like that. Kardam Muni is already devotee, Devahuti is also devotee, but now she is focusing on that. In the similar way, the control of senses, the worship of Lord Vishnu should continue. So sometimes people say, no, lot of financial problem, lot of financial problem. Then what? Leave your chanting, leave your association of devotees. Then what you will do? So lot of problem, lot of problem. So God has given 24 hours, 8 hours for body, 6 hours sleeping, 2 hours eating, sleeping, whatever, bathing. Now remaining 16 hours. What has to be done? According to calculation, 8 hours for soul, 8 hours for body, and 8 hours for family. So 24 hours done. Now, okay, 8 hours we are not able to give because of a lot of responsibilities. So at least 4 hours we should give, 3 hours we should give. So like that, some hours we should give for soul. If you are not giving only for body, family, because too much financial need, and then tomorrow, all after gathering all these financial things, again problem will be there. Because in life we should not try to become technician. Technician means what? Like technician, whenever see some problem, immediately they will go into fixing it. Actually, Arjuna was doing the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. He was saying, problem is what? If I kill these people, then I will get the sin. If I kill these people, they are my family members, I cannot enjoy the kingdom. If I kill these people, then all the women will be polluted, Varna Sankara will be produced, all family, Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma, everything will be destroyed. So he was seeing in terms of technician, okay, like this. But Krishna told, Saradharman Parityajya. You are thinking like for one problem, one solution. This is not the way to solve the life problem. One problem is there, one solution. One problem, one solution. No. We are only seeing the symptoms. We are not going to the root. Root is what? Root is we are not surrendered to Krishna. If we are surrendered to Krishna, many times the solution are given by Krishna or Guru. So we should try not to solve problem as a technician, but we should become a surrendered disciple as Arjuna became Karpanya Doso Pahata Swabhava later. When he became surrendered disciple, he could resolve his problem of all such dharmic what he had thought of finding a solution. But he could not find the solution by his own intelligence. He had to surrender. Therefore, Prabhupada many times, rascal, surrender first. Eh? So many times when we put our intelligence, which is materialistic intelligence, and trying to solve the issues, then it becomes too much complex, and we cannot understand how to come out of it, because world is so complex. It's not only for karmi people; it's for devotees also many times. We also feel like that mind become clotted with so many anxieties, so many anxieties. Mm. Then we should understand I have to surrender. The surrender is the only way. Sardharman. And what is the means of surrender? Somebody can ask, what is the means of this? This only, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Immediately go to direct devotional service. Shravanam, hear from Guru. Immediately. When we hear from Guru, the now the Kapil and Devahuti Samvad is going to come. That is the hearing process only. Instruction, which Prabhupada mentions. No? The fearlessness means spiritual instructions. So we are fearful of certain situation. I have made all uh, arrangements for my fearlessness, but those all arrangements are failing now. How I can be now fearless? So we become really fearful even after arranging everything. So then we understand I have to hear now. Keep everything apart. Just hear from a spiritual master. Arjuna heard from Krishna, and then he understood the problem is not these people, problem is with me. I am not surrendered soul. When I surrender, then things will be resolved. Krishna says, Sardharman parityaja mamekam sharanam. Bas. So therefore, even though this is a simple one-line instruction, but this is a very important Ram Ban bolte isko Ram Ban. It's like a Ram's arrow, which will resolve all problem. So when we hear from Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, our all illusory conceptions are blasted away, and we can then surrender. So this is very, very important. Not only that, okay, we'll practice bhakti in the when our financial stability will come, when our parents will allow, when our husband will allow, when our wives will allow, and nobody will allow you. Bhakti is never simple path. If bhakti is always simple path, then people could have taken to bhakti and they become Babaji, and it's never simple. Either the problems will be put through our mind, through our family people, प्रॉब्लम आता ही रहेगा, कभी नहीं खत्म होने वाला. किसी के लिए भक्ति रोजी पात नहीं बनाया आज तक. फॉर नो वंस द भक्ति वॉज इजी. Nobody could become devotee just by eating prasadam and chanting holy name. He has to struggle through his life. With his mind, with his ego, with his people, he has to struggle. And people think that let this all struggle finish away, then I will become bhakta. Then that is your nice illusion. You be in your illusion. That is why spiritual master is given, na? Prabhupada how many times mentioned that one has to practice bhakti under the guidance of a spiritual master. If bhakti is so simple that anybody can chant here and go, so then so many people are doing, okay, morning I will chant, evening I will chant, I can go. No, this will also not resolve the problem. The seriousness is required. Whether we are serious, because Maya is not looking for some backbenchers. Maya will not pass out backbenchers. Maya will only pass out those who are really surrendered people. After so many endeavors, they have become frustrated and understood that Maya cannot leave me. I have to take shelter. Then Maya will loosen her grip. But people, what they are thinking? They think that this little bit bhakti is the bhakti. Little bit bhakti is only to inspire us. But bhakti means really is sincerity, is a seriousness. Seriousness in practice. How much I am advancing, how much I am able to control my lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, and how much I am able to fix up my consciousness on Krishna, how much I am able to think about Krishna, how much I am able to give up my sense gratificatory desire and put Krishna's desire in front, how much I am able to stop my blaspheming nature, how much I am able to become Trinada Vishnu nature. Means these are the so many parameters have to be practiced. But those who are new people, they think, oh, we have taken to bhakti, so nice. Tomorrow, by taking bhakti, my homely problems will be solved. Will have a money. I will have a nice friends. My husband will like me. My wife will like me. My children will hear all my advice, and this is a nice bhakti. So we have a material expectation from bhakti actually, which has to be resolved properly. So bhakti will surely help us to certain extent, but we should not have too many expectations from bhakti that bhakti will give so many material fulfillment. It's like that actually. Now Dhruv Maharaj, he also became bhakta, but he had to fight with the yakshas. He became Ati Kupita, Ati Rosha, and his brother was killed. His stepmother also died. Eh? So was there no problem? Prabhupada was a Mahabhagavat. Was no problem in his house. His wife was not cooperating. He has to leave his wife. He did not wanted sannyas. He was forced to take sannyas by his Gurudev. Was bhakti so easy? It's not easy. So spiritual advancement is always has to be kept on our choice. It is never that it will come by its own accord. I have to choose spiritual advancement for myself. Not that my father will say, my husband will say, okay, now you practice, okay. This is never. Bhakti is always a path of risk. We have to take a risk. And those who are enlightened, they will take proper risk. Risk should not be like it should be calculated risk. It should not be totally giving up everything, but it should be calculated risk. But risk is always there in bhakti. Risk is always there for everyone. One has to have faith in Krishna and follow the instructions. Indriyarthesu sanjantya prasangastvai me krita अजानन्त्या परं भावं तथापि अस्त्व अभयाय मे.
Hare Krishna. Translation: not knowing your transcendental situation, I have loved you while remaining attached to the objects of the senses. Nonetheless, let the affinity I have developed for you rid me for all fear.
Hmm.
Hare
So
Krishna.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that people are delivered by even a moment association with you, a great devotee. There are two reasons why I did not get delivered even after many years of association with you. First, I was attached to the sense pleasure, and second, I did not know your supreme position. You have a great detachment and are a great devotee of the Lord. Since you are inclined to give up all possessiveness in an instant, give mercy to me, an offender. So two things he mentions, Vishwanath Thakur. Why Devahuti is saying that I could not take benefit of her association. I was attached to sense pleasure. And second thing, I did not know a supreme position. This is very, very important. Many times people, when they come to Bhakti, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says that anchor of attachment. This anchor of attachment is not removed. Like a ship is there, if anchor is not removed, how much one can endeavor to run the engine and pull the ship, and how long he can do, the anchor if not removed, the ship will not move. So the anchor of attachment to sense pleasure has to be removed. Therefore bhakti said vairag vidya. So there is some legitimate pleasure given in the bhakti also, like eating prasadam, having a legitimate marriage partner, and then coming for dancing, eating prasad means some family functions, like Gaur Purnimas, like this is a festival function, and so here we are hearing dancing. So this is also some pleasure. They are allowed. But what it is mentioned here, attachment sense pleasure means basically the person is trying to enjoy something which is not devoted, hmm, or he wants only enjoyment, not bhakti. Only enjoyment, not bhakti. So like that. So then such kind of people, they become attached to sense pleasure and then they cannot advance. And second thing, not knowing the supreme position. This is another problem. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was not respected in India. For 40 years he was preaching. Nobody respected him. Everybody thinking, ah, he's a normal sadhu. What kind of sadhu he was. It was shown later when he brought foreigner people. So when he brought foreigner people, India was attracted by these foreigners and they became devotee. But it's not that Prabhupada did not have potency before going to foreign country. He had same potency, but these people did not realize. They did not realize that he has so much supreme position. So this is another problem. When preaching happens, people consider the preacher to be an ordinary human because they behave in an ordinary way. So they want something like कुछ तो जादू दिखाओ मेरे को, show me some jadoo, then you are a very great person. And these people, some jugglery of words, some sadhus they show, and then say, "Ha, he's very big." Why? Because Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj says, in this is a world of cheaters and cheated. There are people who want to be cheated, and there are people who will cheat. So that is why these Babas are becoming so much famous, even though they have no substance in their life. So much famous. Why? No substance, but people are attached to sense pleasure, and they are seeing who is a very great person, and he will give me sense pleasure, so they become attached. So like that. Yes, what is the question, Ramkrishna?
Prabhuji, my question is, why is Devuti here telling herself as an offender? Because even she has followed all religious principle,
Hmm.
but still she is saying herself as an offender.
See, correct. Good question. See, Kardam Muni is not an ordinary person. He has got a love of Godhead. And Devahuti is going with the expectation that he should just satisfy my senses. Hmm? Even though he is her husband, but and he also told her that I will give you that love of Godhead, but she did not agree that time. She said that first give
Hmm.
me sense pleasure. Hmm. So that's why she's saying this is an offense actually. Ki such a great personality is coming, and just we are asking for very meager or trivial thing. It happens, many people happens actually. Yeah? Like people, even they want to, when they want to, the beginning means those beginners, they when they want to become devotee, they have some petty things in their life. मेरे को ये मिल जाए ना तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा, I will become successful. अरे what this person is teaching, you're not worrying only about, you're just worrying about that if I can have 1 BHK, I can 2 BHK, my son get married, my daughter get married, then all these things they keep on asking. Prabhupada says actually spiritualists, they are not meant to solve this problem. They are meant to give spiritual instructions, spiritual knowledge. Hmm. But materialist people, they only want that thing. That's why she's saying, I'm offender. I have not recognized your spiritual position, and I basically disrespected you. You are meant for giving liberation, and I am asking entanglement in the world. This is offense. Even though she's a wife, she's asking. So she also at the same time, she's also feeling humility. Is another thing. So Devahuti is also not an ordinary woman. She's a mother of, going to be mother of Kapil Dev. So she's showing her through her this
Humility.
gesture that how a disciple should present himself in front of Guru whenever he does a mistake or whenever he goes for some material enjoyment, and then he comes back to his senses and understand, oh, what I did the wrong thing actually. Hmm.
Prabhuji, one more last question I had.
Hmm.
Like, always this has, I've been always thinking of this. So when Kardama Muni got the direct darshan of the Lord, but then even he is, saying to the Lord that still I have this one desire. So the question is that if this, if he is directly seeing the Lord, if he is having, if he is a pure devotee, so then generally devotion means desirelessness. There is no desire other than serving Krishna.
Hmm.
So I am not able to, correlate both these things. That he is a pure devotee, that is perfect. At the same time, he is telling the Lord, I have this little desire of getting into the Grahastha ashram.
Hmm.
So I'm not understanding this,
So
Prabhu.
we read that part, but Prabhupada
Hmm.
only answers that कि after meeting Vishnu, why is asking such thing? So Prabhupada says that everyone is not ready for liberation immediately.
Ah.
So he was not ready. He wanted to fulfill the desire of his Brahma, but also Kardamuni saw Brahma nothing other than the instrument of the Lord. So he was saying that
Hmm.
he was thinking that Lord Vishnu only wanted me to have a son and progeny here. So that's why I'm fulfilling his desire only. And Prabhupada mentions that he was not ready for liberation immediately. Like four Kumaras, they said, we don't want to enter. So why couldn't the Kardamuni follow the same path? Prabhupada says he was not ready for liberation that time. He wanted to take the risk. Okay, I have still time to live, so I can produce some children, and I have a desire to marry. So he did that, and but he became successful.
Yes. Immediately he could leave. That means
Yes,
immediately
immediately
after.
he could leave. So this is his glory, actually. So you
Thank
see,
you.
again, it is not a harm to fulfill some material desire, but one should be very cautious that one should not leave the path of bhakti. One should remain serious, sincere. This is the whole instruction in the whole episode we are getting. Because all living entities cannot desire to go immediately back to Godhead. They want to fulfill certain desire in the time of when they are living, but they should always understand through Bhagavatam. Any life you can see, Kardam Muni, Sobri Muni, Vishwamitra Muni, all these people went through certain detour in their life, but they ultimately come back to the right conclusion. And we have very small span of life, 60, 70 years, so we have don't have long detour option. Only option is many lives, not in one life. So therefore Prabhupada always used to say, hammer, perfect your life in one life. Give one life to Krishna. So Prabhupada used to always hammer this truth. So we have to try our best, correct? So Devati is lamenting her position. As a woman, she had to love someone. Somehow or other, she came to love Kardamuni. But without knowing his spiritual advancement, Kardamuni could understand Devati's heart. Generally, all women desire material enjoyment, therefore, they are called less intelligent because they are mostly prone to material enjoyment. Devati laments because her husband had been given the best kind of material enjoyment, but she did not know that he was so advanced. Hmm. Association with the great saintly person most important. Chetan Mahaprabhu says sadhu sangha. The association of great saintly people is very important because even if one is advanced, not advanced in knowledge, simply by association with great saintly person, one can immediately make considerable advancement in spiritual life. As a woman, as an ordinary wife, Devahoti became attached to Kardamuni in order to satisfy her sense enjoyment and other material necessities, but actually she associated with a great personality. Now she understood this and she wanted to utilize the advantage of the association of her great husband. Mm, yes. So two things are mentioned here. One thing is generally the women have this material tendencies, and as far in Kali Yuga or Kalo Sudra Sambhava, everybody is Sudra. So therefore you find this enjoying tendency even in male as well as women, female also, everywhere. So therefore the training has to be given Dvija. hmm? Sanskar bhaved hoi Dvija. So one has to be trained in spiritual knowledge. Then one starts understanding that material enjoyment is temporary and it should not be elongated more and more because it's a temporary, it comes and goes. And if we want to enjoy material enjoyment, then we have to keep changing our objects of enjoyment, and that creates a lot of frustration because any material enjoyment, it will live for a short time, any material enjoyment. And then if person is attached to material enjoyments, then he becomes frustrated. Again and again I have to do the same thing to enjoy same thing, and then becomes frustrated. And spiritual enjoyment is long lasting, it never ends. Na sate vidato bhava, na bhava vidate sata. The what is eternal has no cessation, and what is temporary has no endurance. It will surely finish. Whatever the highest enjoyment of sex life, that will also finish. And the uh, summer, winter, this will also finish. So any kind of material enjoyment has beginning and end. Adi antavanta kaunteya. Adi and anta both are there with material enjoyment, and material enjoyment is gotten through sense objects. So the sense object have a limitation to give that enjoyment. And so we have to change the sense object again and again to keep enjoying. And so here it's mentioned, the less intelligent means the people, therefore I mentioned, they keep on accumulating the resources. Why? Because they understand if this resource falls, um, if it does not give me enjoyment, then I will take to next resource, then next resource. So therefore they keep accumulating resources, and they keep titillating their mind. Okay, okay, now mind is saying this thing you want, okay, I got that. My mind is saying this thing, so then whatever mind is saying, we are scratching it. ठीक है, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए. तो ये मटेरियल एंजॉयमेंट है. तो इसलिए मटेरियल एंजॉयमेंट से बाहर निकलने के लिए वन हैज टू बिकम सोबर इन हिज लाइफ. सोबर, first he has to become sober. So Shankaracharya says that Nihasangatve satsangatve nihasangatvam. Nihasangatve, and then he says that niramohatvam nischalatatvam muktihi. So he says that by satsang, nihasang means once one gets the satsang, then what happened? He becomes free from asatsang. And then nirmohatvam. Then he gets nirmohatvam means vivek, he gets knowledge. Sober, he becomes sober. Nischala tattvam, he becomes pragya. Nischala tattvam, now he will not be disturbed by any kind of problem. And then when one becomes pragya, means that we say na tasya pragya pratisthita. Always the shloka comes in Bhagavad Gita. Tani sarvani samyamya yoga yukta asita matparah basehi yasyindriyani tasya pragya pratisthita. So pragya. And when the intelligence is fixed up, then one can get moksha. So intelligence, vyavasaya atmika buddhi ekehe kurnandana. So intelligence, when it becomes fixed up, when one gets rid of moha. And when one can get rid of moha, when one gets vivek चाहिए पहले तो सत्संग लिया तो मोह से मुक्त होता है, मोह से मुक्त होने के बाद विवेक आता है, विवेक से फिर उसको मुक्ति आती है, और विवेक मतलब फिक्सिंग ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस बेसिकली, एंड देन वन गेट्स मुक्ति. Satsang is so important. By that one can get free from nirmohatvam. One can become free from moha. Sadhus, they cut the... Sadhus means basically they cut our material attachment. So here it's mentioned like that. So association with the great personality is so important. So she has become attached. It is mentioned in the 7th canto. Like Krishna, gopis, they got attracted to Krishna. It's mentioned because of Kam. And then Sisupal, he was basically angry. He was envious of Krishna. And Kamsa, he was fearful of Krishna. Yadus, they were having family relationship with Krishna. And Narada, he was having devotion for Krishna. But all of them got the same result. What is the result? They ascended to the spiritual abode. Yeah, there was some category where they went later, but at least they went away from this material world. They got freed from this material world. In a similar way, the same thing applies for sadhu also. If somebody associates with sadhu also for sense gratification, and the sadhu is very advanced, so then what happens? They also get the similar kind of destination. Because the advanced sadhus, they always meditate on Lord Sri Krishna. And just by that click, now how Devahuti got that click of understanding? Earlier she was not understanding. Even after serving she did not understand. Because she saw her husband, after so much enjoyment, he is ready to leave everything and go away. She got immediately struck of her thoughts. Kya ho raha hai? What is happening with me? He's not attached to me. He's not attached to his children also. He's just leaving away. He's such a person. So she saw the detachment of him. Earlier he was also detached. He was not like taking care of her. When he opened his eyes and saw she was emaciated, he wanted to help her. And after enjoyment also he is not attached. It means he understood. He is a different personality only. So that's why by this kind of association they get elevated in the spiritual knowledge. संगो है संसितर हेतु असत्सो विहतो धिया सैव साधु सुकृतो निहसंगत्वाय कल्पते. So now who can okay, ठीक है, अभी खत्म होने वाला नहीं, ठीक है माता जी, you can continue. Yes, unmute करना.
Sorry, bro. Hare Krishna. Association for the sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge.
She is saying, Devahuti is saying like that. Association of saintly person is anyway bears the same result. For example, Lord Krishna met many kinds of living entities. So it's mentioned same like he treated Some treated him enemy, some treated him agent of sense gratification. Like gopis, they were attached to Krishna for sense attraction, and yet they became first class devotees. Kamsa, Shishupal, Dantavakra, other demons, however, were related to Krishna as enemies. But whether they associated with Krishna as enemy or for sense gratification, out of fear or as a pure devotee, they all got liberation. That is the result of association of Lord. Even if one does not understand who he is, the result have the same efficacy. Association of great saintly person also result in liberation. Just as whether one goes toward fire knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will make one warm. So like that. So Devavati expressed her gratefulness for although she wanted to associate with Kardamuni only for sense gratification, because he was spiritually great, she was sure to be liberated by his benediction. Therefore, we find that Narsimdev says to Prahlad Maharaj, he asks for liberation of his father. So he says, you do not worry about your father. 21 generation of you will be delivered because they have given birth to you and you are a pure devotee. So you are coming in their lineage and you have become pure devotee, means 21 generation will be liberated. So Prahlad Maharaj was the best of the sadhus. So we can understand. In a similar way, Kardam Muni is a pure devotee. Just by his association, his wife got delivered. We find Tukaram Maharaj also. His wife was not at all understanding the position of Tukaram Maharaj. So even though we hear that he went to Vaikuntha, but what was her wife's destination? She must also have been got a good destination, because she was a wife of pure devotee. Sometimes it is also heard that they also get chance for next life to practice bhakti, because Tukaram Maharaj's wife did not ask till last when he was leaving the world. She did not ask, can you give me again fearlessness? No. She was just taking care of her buffaloes. She was more interested in buffalo than her husband. So sometimes that happened, but still it must have given a good destination to her also, as she was a chaste wife. So we heard also that she also shares the same benedictions of her husband. So in that sense, she must have got a good destination. But again, we cannot assume immediately that she will immediately go to the spiritual world and other things. That depends upon the Lord. So here, the same liberation is given. नेह यत्कर्म धर्माय न विरागाय कल्पते न तीर्थपद सेवाय जीवन अपे मृतो हि सः.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to a devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. So,
नेह यत् कर्म धर्माय. If any work is not leading to a dharma, that work is useless. If any dharma is not leading to vairagya, that dharma is useless. If any vairagya is not leading to service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that vairagya is useless. So means that person is living like a dead person. So this is a gradations. Means what is meant for what? This shloka is like that. So karma is meant for dharma. Dharma is meant for vairagya. Vairagya is meant for service to Krishna. Simple. Otherwise, jivan mrito ahisaha. So like that. So Devavati's statement is that since she was attached to living with her husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply waste of time. Any work which one performs that does not lead to the state of religious life is useless activity. Everyone by nature inclined to do some sort of work, and when that work leads one to religious life leads one to renunciation leads one to devotional service. Once one attains the perfection of work. So ultimately, it began from work. The work becomes perfect when one engages in bhakti. Yajnanthar karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. So work which does not lead one to understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. It's a useless work. So one should not remain stuck with the dharma only. Okay, regular dharma. Okay, I am doing my dharma. What about dharma next? What is the dharma next? Vairagya, viveka. So when like Krishna mentions in fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, any yagya you do, what is the goal of yagya? To situate oneself in transcendental knowledge. There is yagya for brahmachari, yagya for grihasthas, yagya for banprastha, yagyas for yogis, hmm, and different kinds of tapasya, chaturmas tapasya, ekadasi vrata. So many tapasya, so many yagyas are mentioned in fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna at last says they are meant to situate us in knowledge. Because unless one is situated in proper knowledge, he cannot be renounced. Renunciation का prerequisite क्या रहता है? Knowledge. Now somebody can say, but Prabhuji, bhakti is independent of... Yeah, bhakti is independent. Bhakti anyone can do, but renunciation will only be visible when he is fixed up in knowledge. Because that knowledge inspires him to remain away from sense object. Many times when we go near sense object, our knowledge is evaporated. By the heat of sense enjoyment, the knowledge is evaporated. So therefore, the the heat of sense enjoyment should be evaporated by the heat of knowledge. It should happen like that. So therefore, knowledge has to be realized. When knowledge is realized, then it does not evaporate. So how knowledge gets realized? It is said one has to do service. When one does services with a humble attitude, like here Devahuti served her husband. So she is speaking very realized words here actually. Even though she had only looked for sense enjoyment, now she is becoming realized now. This process is very dynamic actually. Uh, Many times we should not misunderstand these things, that many times people, even devotees also engaged in sense enjoyment, but it does not mean that they are in ignorance. Immediately they come out also from that sense enjoyment and then they start speaking big philosophies. Because what happens, at what time Lord is inspiring in his heart that now too much, now come out now. So Lord sometimes allows devotees to go through certain sense enjoyment, and after certain time he says come out now. So he brings him out and then immediately gives him the knowledge. Immediately. So it's a dynamic thing actually. For devotees who are growing in the journey in bhakti, so those are growing. So then Lord sometimes allows him, okay, go now, go now, go now. I immediately come out, come out, come out. So he's like a guide. So for Devavati also same thing. Yeah. So she has to be advanced more by hearing from Kapil Dev later. So she is experiencing that realized knowledge is there. Saham bhagavato nunam vanchita maya dridam yatvam vimuktidam prapya nam mumuksheya bandhanat.
Hare Krishna. Translation. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the instrumental
Insurmountable.
insurmountable illusory energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, for in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Hare.
So I have been cheated by insurmountable illusory energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what? This is happening with everyone. Everyone is getting cheated. Insurmountable means you cannot surpass that energy. You cannot overcome that energy. This is so much great illusory energy. In fifth canto, uh, when the prayers of Jambudip happens, so some of the Varshas people, they pray to the Lord, my Lord, your energy is so wonderful that it bewilders everyone, and so we are offering obeisances to your energy. This is a prayer. Means they are saying your energy is so wonderful that it can bewilder anyone, and we cannot understand how much powerful it is. So we are offering obeisances to your energy. It comes there. So yes, so energy, the illusory energy is very powerful. She can bewilder anyone, a person of great knowledge. What to speak of ordinary people? So like just this body is nothing but a dress, nothing but a utensils, simply, in which the some things are kept. It's a body is like a external cover, but how much glamour this body has created in the world. Even after repeated hearing from Bhagavad Gita from everywhere, the illusion has not been gone away. People are just after it. We can understand such an illusion, such an illusion. Maya can means with such insignificant thing that everyone can know the truth by just cutting this body little bit. Just cut this body little bit, dissect it, and go inside, and you'll find blood, and then flesh, and then some bones, some nerves, which are not at all attractive to us, not at all attractive. We become fearsome by seeing inside the body. But when the same body is packed nicely, we become attracted. Everybody knows this, but everybody does not know this. How? Because of illusion. Illusion is so powerful that one forgets the reality immediately. Just one becomes concerned and no, whatever may be, but it's beautiful. No, oh no, whatever may be, it's a tasty. Oh no, whatever may be, it's for my pleasure. One forgets the thing after repeated hearing also. The Maya is very powerful. So she's saying, I have been cheated by insurmountable illusion energy of the Lord. For in spite of having obtained your association which gives liberation, did not seek such liberation. So she speaks with the tears in her eyes, with a choked voice. So she is lamenting actually. This is a right position, like Arjuna lamented Krishna. Karpanya doso pahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta. Nishchehasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. So, samudha, I have become mudha. I have become foolish. Donkey. I have given up my dharma. Krishna, I do not know what is the long term benefit for me. I am only seeing some temporary benefit by not doing my dharma. But you tell me what is Shreyas, what is long term benefit for me. Don't tell me if I kill my people, I'll get kingdom. This is a small benefit. Tell me which is eternal benefit I'm going to get by doing my job, doing my professional devotional service here. So he wanted that. So by surrendering to Guru in humble mood, one achieves this perfection actually. Okay, next chapter, renunciation of Kardam Muni. So now this chapter can be read by Jay Prakash Prabhuji is there. You can read Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, I will read. So I will read the this sloka. You can read translation.
Yeah, yeah.
Maitreya uvacha निरवेदवादिनीम् एवं मनोर्दुहितरं मुनि दयालु शालिनीम् आह शुक्लां व्यावहृतं स्मरन्. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhu Manu's praiseworthy daughter, Devuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation.
Salinim praiseworthy. And Kardamuni remembers Sukla, Vishnu, Shukla, white, Sukla white. So he is remembering the Lord Vishnu. ऋषिरुवाच माखिदो राजपुत्रितम् आत्मानं प्रत्य अनिन्दिते भगवांस्ते क्षरो गर्भम् आदूरात् संप्रपश्यते.
The sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son.
This is a one thing actually. Those people who are in knowledge, they always have a far vision. They don't become entangled with the small mistakes of people. Little mistakes, okay, you start chastising. Little mistake, you start chastising. No. Kardamuni could see that Devahuti had such a great future that Lord is going to appear as her son. When we want to encourage people, we have to be far sighted. You cannot encourage people when you start pointing their mistakes and then you start saying, okay, you have also good thing, okay, you have also good thing, okay, you have this mistake, that mistake. Um, so when we have far sighted vision, then we look for good more than the faults. Yes, I'm not talking about some very critical fault is there and then one always look the good. So that should not be done. Means there is no critical fault here in Devahuti. She is basically desirous of spiritual perfection. And Karda Muni says that what future you have, do you know first? Lord is going to take birth from you. So that future you are there. So do not lament. You are already praiseworthy. So those who practice spiritual life, sometimes in their life lamentation may come. So at that time they should therefore take shelter of eternal words, which glorifies their future, which glorifies their uh, service, which they are doing, and their connection to the Supreme Lord. So when we hear those encouraging words, we become happy. Neha vikramana sosti prattavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. All of us need encouragement in our life. So encouragement comes when we hear some far-sighted words, some eternal truths about devotional service, and that is only the preaching. Preaching basically we inspire people to take to spiritual life because spiritual life is always benedictory. It is always beneficial. Sometimes when people take to spiritual life, they may face some tragedy or catastrophe, some mistakes they may do, but spiritual life is always beneficial. It is never wrong. People say na, see the things in the world, wrong right, क्या सही है क्या गलत है. Spiritual life is never wrong. Some mistakes we can may do because of immaturity, but spiritual life is never wrong. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजां हरेर् भजन्न पक्को अथ पते ततो यदि यत्र क्वा वा भद्रमबूधमुष्य किं को वार्थ आप्तो अभजतां स्वधर्मतः. What is the use of doing one's duty so devotedly that one forgets to take shelter of the Lord? What is the use of doing such duty? There is no use. If person is just doing whole day working hard, or wife is doing whole day household chores, children are following their father and mother, but none of them are aware about the supreme personality of Godhead. What is such fate? What is such worthless destiny? There's no use of such duties. So Bhagavatam brings out the far-sighted understanding of the eternal truth, or the truth basically. What is the you should understand? Everything is meant for surrender to Vishnu. And if you just become short-sighted in your life, just do this dharma, I'll be happy, then you are kripana. There's a two words, brahmana and kripana. So kripana means miser person. He's not utilizing his freedom properly. He does not know the far-sighted vision. So here, Karda Muni is glorifying his wife. So he encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate. She was not unfortunate. She was such a great lady, actually. Dhrutavrtasi bhadram te damena niyamena cha tapo dravina danescha shraddhaya cheswaram bhaja. Yes.
You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observance, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity.
Hmm. Unlike other women, you are not without pious actions. You have strong vows because you performed vows in your previous life. In this life, you have a strong determination also. This will be auspicious for you. So this shloka mentions that instruction by Kardamuni what she has to do in his absence, actually Kardamuni does not go away. He remains there, but after he speaks, because later Brahma comes and he talks with both of them. That incident comes. So he telling what he has to do now. You have undertaken sacred vow, God will bless you. You should worship the Lord with faith, sensory control, and religious. So Prabhupada mentions, in order to spiritually advance or to achieve mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules, regulations of religious principle. Without austerity and penance and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Lord. Kardamuni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles, giving charity. So, to attain Lord, one thing is to attain Lord means in realization we realize super self. Other thing is to attain Lord in the as a womb, in the womb of Devahuti, that he will become my child. Both similar. So either to attain the Lord in the heart or in one's body, so that he'll become the child. So for both purposes, the austerity and penance has to be executed. So when this is the instruction, when we are not pure, so then one has to rethink about it. I have to, when there are so many obstacles coming in my spiritual life, I'm not able to attain great mercy of the Lord. So the first step in life is do some austerity, do some penance, so that we become free from material attachments. And our brain, our vivek becomes fixed up somewhere in spiritual life. So do some austerity, penance, and sacrifice some riches. Means charity. One has to. Therefore, yagya dana tapa pavanani manishinaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yagya dana tapa. Yagya means sacrifice. Dana means charity. Tapa means austerity. Krishna says these things should not be even given up by sannyasis also. Because pavanani manishinaha. Anybody who is thoughtful, even thoughtful person is also purified by doing these things. So what is the charity for all of us? The highest charity is the charity of knowledge. When we preach the knowledge, there's a charity of basically, yes, establishing anyone into the transcendental knowledge is the biggest charity. At the same time, if somebody is not full devoutly doing that, so better to give charity of one's wealth, for which we are spending a lot of time. So one should offer the wealth in charity. Then what is austerity? Austerity in modern times, basically, the best austerity is to chant the holy names. Because sitting at one place, concentrating on the holy name and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Nam Nam, Hare Hare, and all the distractions which are there, we can overcome. So if somebody is already chanting 16 rounds, so what is more austerity? One can chant more rounds. Ekadasi day, fasting and then chanting. So yagya is also chanting of holy name. Dana and tapa. Tapasya is same thing. Waking up early in the morning, chanting early in the morning, and doing some fasting like Ekadasi Vrata, and other vratas we can also, according to one's capacity, one can take up. Satvayāradhita suklo vitanvan mamakam yasha chetta te hridaya granthim audarya brahma bhavana.
The personality of Godhead, being worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahma.
When Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to decimate the spiritual knowledge for the benefit of people, he generally descends as a son of the devotee, being pleased by devotees' devotional service. So actually he is not a son of anyone, he is a father of everyone, but still out of affection, he wants to become son. So spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of heart. Hridaya Granthi. What is the Hridaya Granthi? Matter and spirit which are knotted by false ego, that is Hridaya Granthi. That is Hridaya Granthi. Means matter has to be left away. It should not be caught hold by spirit, but spirit has caught hold of matter because of false ego. The false ego, when spirit identifies himself, he forgets himself first. Yeah, I am a spirit. Then he identifies with the matter, and therefore he catches hold of the matter. So when he identifies to the wrong things because of false ego, he catches hold. And what is actually false ego? Once again, false ego is basically ego. Ego means one's identity. So I am an enjoyer of all I survey. Whatever I survey, I will enjoy. So then the soul has a tendency to enjoy, and he forgets himself and his relationship with Lord Krishna. So then that tendency is used in enjoying matter. So this is the biggest problem, that कृष्णा भूलिया जीव भोग वांछा करे, पाशते माया तारे झपटिया धरे. Krishna भूलिया जीव भोग वांछा करे. If one forgets Krishna and he also forgets himself as a soul, then bhoga vancha kare. Earlier he was doing seva vancha, he wanted to do seva, prem seva, bhakti vancha. Now is a bhoga vancha. So now bhoga vancha soul is sent into material world, and Maya will catch him. So Maya first covers the soul who is having bhoga vancha desire with the false ego. So first the soul has to identify with the body. Means first identify means, okay, I am the enjoyer. So he has bhog vancha desire. So now false ego has covered. So false ego means he will always remain thinking that I have to enjoy, I have to enjoy, I have to enjoy. False ego will cover, and then false ego will also give the matter. Now you enjoy with this matter. So false ego has covered, given the wrong identity to the soul that I am not this spirit, I am a body, and then this identity says enjoy body. So then he start enjoying. This is a problem. So Hridaya Granthi is this. It is very difficult to give up this Hridaya Granthi, and that can only be cut by spiritual knowledge. Asanga sastena dridena chitva, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, by the sword of knowledge you cut this attachment, Arjuna. Cut this attachment. Many times Krishna does not mention in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that you find the root of attachment, Arjuna. Find. He says you cannot find the root because this is a Vatavriksha, it's a Varga banyan tree. Roots are coming from here and there. So we cannot find the root of our attachment. Kidhar hai? Turant use kaat do, khatam karo, finish it off. It means basically take up the spiritual life. Don't start finding, okay, I have this problem. Don't become technician once again. Technician wala. Become surrendered disciple. Because surrendered disciple understand Guru has said this thing to do, I will do that. Even though I feel or not, I will do. Okay, what will happen by doing that? I don't know what will happen. But Guru has said, Krishna has said, that will clear my false ego. I will do that. So that is why this is the way. Hridaya Granthi. You cannot find out your roots of attachment. It's very difficult. Jnanis, they have to suffer a lot. Neti, ye bhi nahi, wo bhi nahi. But Krishna consciousness is just serve the Lord. Surrender to him and serve the Lord. So here, exist for all conditioned souls. It becomes more and more tightened when one is too much affection for sex life. Yes. So Hridaya Granthi comes. It comes in 5th canto. Again, Rishabdev says that. What is that? Pumsa istriya mithuni bhavam etad tayo mritha hridayganti mahur ato virekshetra sutapte vitter janas samohoyam aham mameti. Same thing is speaking. Pumsa istriya mithuni bhavam etam. So he says that first of all, this material world is nothing but attraction of sex. Attraction of sexual attachment for man has for woman and woman has for man. So this material environment is like that. And then this attachment becomes hard knotted when they unite as a partner. So when they unite as a partner, that becomes Hridaya Granthi. And then the Hridaya Granthi becomes more and more knotted when they start combining with children, home, money, relatives. So then all these knots start increasing more and more because identification with them start increasing more and more. So the more material identification our increases with the people, with the objects, the attachment also increases. And that's why the Hridaya Granthi becomes very, very tightened. So the this affection for sex life is the only beginning of Hridaya Granthi actually. So the explanation was given by the Lord Rishabdev to his son. Same thing what I will discuss here. For the people who hanker after material possession, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by the Brahma Bhavana, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that knot in the heart is cut to the pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. So we can see Devahuti, her desire was to have some family. Again, whether it is a for good desire, bad desire, it's not a question of good or bad. Skardam Muni, he was already perfect person. He entered and he came out because he understood. He was already realized person. So for him, it's not a bondage. But for Devahuti, it was a bondage because he was not realized beforehand, and she wanted to enjoy. So therefore, she was caught up. And so Prabhupada mentions the Hridaya Granthi is there, and it is mentioned by whom? Skardam Muni. That Devahuti's Hridaya Granthi will be cut by Kapil Muni by knowledge of Sankhya. Amazing thing that Devahuti, she's a mother and woman, and still Sankhya is so difficult philosophy. And Kapil Muni is giving that Sankhya to his mother actually. the You can say the recipient is a mother here. Such a highest, very difficult Sankhya, and is given to her. Lord can give surely. Maitreya Vacha Devahutyya api sandesham Kauravena Prajapate Samyak Sraddhaya Purusham Kutastham Abhajat Gurum.
Sri Maitreya said, Dehuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the Master of Universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart.
After getting instruction from her husband, she started doing austerity, penance, and charity, and meditating upon the Supreme Lord. This is the process of spiritual realization. One has to receive instruction from bona fide spiritual master. Kardamuni was a Devahuti husband, but because he instructed her on the how to achieve spiritual perfection, he naturally became her spiritual master also. So Lord Shiva is the spiritual master of Parvati. A husband should be so enlightened that he should become a spiritual master of his wife in order to enlighten her in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Then Samyak Shraddhaya. So again he says that Prabhupada is taking one more. Yes, Samyak Shraddhaya Purusham. So here is saying that one should receive the knowledge with great faith. So this is a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi, Eke Kuru Nandana, where he mentions Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in purport. Prabhupada mentions this many places. When I read this verse and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary, that if one wants to understand what should be one's life and soul in one's life, then that should be instruction of a spiritual master. So one should take the instruction of a spiritual master as one's life and soul. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives this commentary for Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi Eke Kuru Nandana. So one should accept the instruction of spiritual master as one's life and soul. Whether one is liberated, not liberated, one should execute the instruction of a spiritual master with great faith. It is also stated that Lord is situated in everyone's heart. And one does not have to seek Lord outside. He is already there. One simply has to concentrate on the worship in a good faith, as instructed by the bona fide spiritual master. One's effort will come out fully. So see, this is a called simple bhakti process. Like sometimes people, they are enamored, they are bewildered, they are too much in worry, anxiety in their life. And when some devotee approaches them, and then they say, process is very simple. They think, Ari, we have such a great problem. How can you say that we can get Krishna so easily? So Prabhupada here mentions one has to concentrate on one's worship in good faith, as instructed by bona fide spiritual master, then effort will be successful. Because Lord is everywhere. He's situated in our heart. So it's not that one has to do lot of endeavor to bring that Lord from great distance place to near to oneself. No. Only thing what is required is faith. With faith, follow the instruction. That is the only thing. So then the Lord will become pleased. So as stated in Bhagavad Gita, he appears by his internal potency, Atmaya. And how does he appear? He appears when he becomes pleased by the worship of devotee. A devotee may ask the Lord to appear as a son. The Lord is already sitting within the heart. If he comes out from the body of a devotee, it does not mean that a particular woman becomes his mother in the material sense. He is always there, but in order to please his devotee, appears as her son. So this is again the transcendental philosophy to understand. Lord came out from the body of Devahuti does not mean Devahuti becomes the mother. Lord is always there, inside and out. So sometimes it's appearing from outside or inside from inside, outside is coming. Does it become that, can we say that now Devahuti has become mother? No. Lord is always there. Somewhere he is appearing, somewhere he is disappearing. So where he is appearing, we are saying that Lord has taken birth. Lord is always there. There is no question of birth. So it's like that. So when we have to understand the transcendental philosophy properly. So this is the way we want us to pray also. My Lord, you are no one's son, you are no one's, you are not dependent upon anyone, but still you become dependent, still you become son, just to show affection to your devotees. You want to reciprocate love with them. This is a transcendental understanding. Tasyam bahut. Okay, next now we will read.
Roji, I can read if you want.
Okay, Proji, you can read. Continue. Tasyam bahutite kale Bhagavan Madhusudana Kardamam Viryam Apanno Jagye Agniriva Darunim. Yes.
After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice.
It means Kardama did not go away. He was still there. And Lord appeared through his semen. It's mentioned here. But again, here also transcendental understanding given by Srila Prabhupada. Fire is already present in the wood, but by certain process fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all pervading and he is everywhere since he may come out from everything. He appeared in the devotee semen. Just as the ordinary living entity takes his birth, taking shelter of semen of certain living entity, the Supreme Lord accepts the shelter of semen of his devotee and comes out as his son. This manifests his full independence to act in any way. It does not mean that he is an ordinary living entity forced to take birth in a certain type of a womb. Lord Narsimha came from pillar, Varahadev came from nostrils of Brahma, and Kapila comes from the semen of Kardam. So Lord in no way going to get polluted, or no way is going to become forced the natural process of birth. No. He is not at all, even though he may imitate the method, he is not subjugated or controlled by the method. So here it is there. So this manifests his full independence. Like that. And then he says that Lord Vara appeared from the nostril. Okay. The word Kardamam is significant, for it indicates that Lord had some devotional affection or relationship in devotional service with Kardam and Devoti, but he should not mistakenly understand that he was born just like an ordinary living entity from the semen of Kardam Muni in the womb of Devoti. So this one should not misunderstand. Lord can be born in any way. Either he is taking a birth in an ordinary way, or in extraordinary way, or in his own way, whatever way. He is always transcendental. He is never dependent upon some laws and jurisdictions. No. आवद्यंस्तदा व्योम्नि वादित्राणि घन घन गायन्ति तं स्म गन्धर्वा नृत्यन्ति अप्सरसो मुदा. Yes.
At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls, known as Apsaras, danced in joyful ecstasy.
So this is a celebration going on. पेतुः सुमनसो दिव्या खेचरेर् अपवर्जिता प्रसेदुश्च दिश सर्वा अम्बभांसि च मनांसि च.
At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied.
Hmm. So everyone comes for service when Lord appears. So all the direction and the waters, everyone mind became very satisfied. So Lord is a central point of attraction for all living entities. And so living entities, out of respect, they are coming here. Because in material world, uh, Lord is supreme, everyone knows, especially the higher personalities. So they are coming out of respect and also some love, some devotional service they want to render. But in actuality, living entity has a very deep affection and relationship with the Lord. He cannot live without him, as we see in case of pure devotees. So such occasional celebration is okay, but living entity has a deep relationship with the Lord, personal relationship. It's not only formal. It is here, it is learned here with that in the higher sky there are living entities who can travel through the air without being hampered. Although we can travel in outer space, we are hampered by so many impediments, but they are not. Okay. तत्कर्दम्मा श्रमपद सरस्वत्या परिश्रुतं स्वयंभू साकं ऋषिभिर्मरिचि आदिभिरभवत् अभ्ययात्. Yes.
Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along with Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati.
Hmm. Now Brahmaji coming from his own abode. So Brahma's appearance is not ordinary. So Brahma is coming with all his Maricha and other sages. Because even the Kardamuni is also son of Brahma. So therefore, there. Brahma is called Swayambhu because he was not born from material father and mother. Therefore, he is called Swayambhu, spiritual birth. Directly spiritual birth, no material birth. Directly coming from navel of Vishnu. So it's called Swayambhu. Bhagavantam param brahma satvenam sena satruhan tattva sankhyan vigyepte jatam vidvanaja swarat.
Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a portion of the Supreme Personality Godhead, in his quality of pure existence, had appeared in the womb of Devahuti just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga.
Hmm. So Brahma is going to congratulate as well as also tell the who is going to appear now. So he has come.
So probably which kind of avatar is Lord Kapila Dev? We hear there are many types,
It's
categories.
a Kala.
Kala,
Amsa Kala.
Kala.
Okay, sorry, it's Amsa, not Kala.
Amsa.
Kala means, Prabhupada mentions in purport here, is a portion, and portion is called I think is Amsa and then Kala. So there is some relationship is there. So portion is called something, and then portion is called something. So Kapil Dev is a portion of portion. But again, Prabhupada clearly mentions that um, this does not mean that he is less in potency than Lord Sri Krishna. In potency, all avatars are same. Potency. When you call direct, like Saktavesh avatar, you can say they may have lesser potency. But when it comes to any Kala or Amsa, anyone, the potency is same. So they are not decreasing in potency, but qualities which they show in the material world or whatever, that can be like we understand Vishnu has 60 qualities and Krishna has 64 qualities, but potency is full. Potency of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are fully potent, but qualities may differ. In Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, it is stated that Lord Himself is compiler of Vedanta Sutra, the perfect knower of Vedanta Sutra. Similarly, the Sankhya philosophy is compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His appearance as Kapila. So, who is the compiler of Vedanta? Lord Krishna. Who is the now propagator or compiler of Sankhya philosophy? Again, Kapila, Lord Kapila. तो प्रभुपाद जी हमेशा मेंशन करते हैं कि there is always imitation Kapila, who has also spoken about Sankhya philosophy system. That is the atheistic Sankhya, and this is a theistic Sankhya. Brahma could understand this fact that Lord is Swarat, almost independent in receiving knowledge. He is called Swarat because he did not see here. Brahma is a Swarat, he is not Lord is Swarat. So Brahma is mentioned here Swarat. We hear that Lord is Swarat, but Brahma is also Swarat. How? Because Brahma received knowledge from his heart only. Because there was no teacher. He was the first living being born in this whole creation. So there was no teacher for him. So Lord was the teacher, and Lord gave knowledge through his heart. Tene Brahma Hirda Adi Kavaye. We hear na. Tene Brahma Hirda. So Brahma Gyan, spiritual knowledge, were given to Adi Kavi, the first living entity, which was Brahma. So he was handed over the knowledge directly from the heart. So therefore Swarat is mentioned here. He was independent in receiving knowledge. Satvena Amsena. Here it comes actually. So about Kapil Muni, we mentioned. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, He brings with Him all the paraphernalia of Vaikuntha. Therefore, name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, His entourage, all belongs to transcendental world. Real goodness is in the transcendental world. In material world, there is not real goodness. It is also mixed with the passion and ignorance. So now, in the spiritual world, unalloyed quality of goodness prevails. Their quality of goodness is called Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Another name for Shuddha Sattva is Vasudeva, because God is born from Vasudeva. Another meaning is that when one is purely situated in the quality of goodness, he can understand the form, name, quality, paraphernalia, and entourage of the Supreme Personality of God. This is another thing why we don't understand, because if we are in modes of material nature, we cannot match with the frequency of understanding the Lord. So one is to come to the first mode of goodness and practice bhakti, and then slowly he becomes out of the mode. He goes out of the mode. He becomes situated in Shuddha Sattva. And that's why these people are so peaceful. When you meet like Narada or some great sages like Vedvyas, they are very, very peaceful, very highly, because they are in Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva. One Sattva person can be peaceful. Shuddha Sattva means no milavat. There is no mixture only. So Lord is very peaceful, very prasant. Just by looking at Him, feeling very attracted. Such a peaceful person. Such a attractive person. Like that. Another meaning is that when one is purely situated, yes, you can understand. The word Amsen also indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appeared as a Kapil Dev in a portion of his portion. Okay, so God expands either as Kala or Amsa. Amsa means direct expansion and Kala means expansion of the expansion. So Amsa
Yes.
is direct expansion. Okay. रामादिमूर्ति सुकला नियमेन तिष्ठान नानावतारम अकरोद भुवनेषु किंतु. So no, there Ramadimurti Sukala कला सुकला नियमेन कला उसमें भी कला आता है एंड
Also,
देयर
ete cham sakala pumsa Krishna.
एते चाम सकला पुंस कृष्णस्तु भगवान से तो देयर आल्सो कला का एते च अंश आफ्टर डिस्क्राइबिंग 26 or 27 or 29 incarnations in the first canto third chapters Vedvya says that ete cha amsa kala all these amsa and kala are basically coming from Krishna ete cha amsa kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam so Krishna is the main person Bhagavan and his amsa and kala I have mentioned in these incarnations so here mentioned that Kapila is amsa direct expansion and then kala is expansion but Prabhupada says there is no difference between expansion and expansion of expansion and the Supreme Lord directly as there is no difference between one candle and another but still the candle from which the other are lit is called original candle that is Supreme Lord Krishna Sabhajayan Vishuddhena Chetasa Tatchikirsitam Praharsya Maner Subhihi Asubhihi Kardamma Chedam Abhigat.
After worshipping the Supreme Lord with with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti.
Hmm. So now Brahmaji is speaking to Kardama and Devahuti. So 1 minute. So these instructions are going to be 10th 11th shloka. So okay 11 to 19 basically is 11 to 19 Brahma is glorifying Kardama, Devahuti and Lord Kapila. So better we'll stop here because then we have to complete the whole section. So here Brahma has started talking with Kardama Muni and Devahuti. So both are there present. So okay, any question from this section or previous sections? Any question?
Prabhuji, I have a little unrelated question to this, but
Yes.
once I was I was preaching, so one person asked, if God is all complete in himself,
Hmm.
why does he need to expand and why does he need to have his gopis and his wife and his devotees if God is full in himself? So obviously I did answer, but I would also like to hear what you would say.
Eko Bahu Shyam. It is said that Shyam became many, Bahu. For what reason? Raso Vayasaha. So, to enjoy, uh, enjoyment does not happen alone. Enjoyment happens with somebody. Reciprocation. Like two people can clap. I mean, so two hands can clap. In the similar way, Lord is himself self-satisfied, but he wants to increase his enjoyment. So therefore, Prabhupada also says that therefore he created a family. He created his gopis, he created all living entities. eh? So this is actually, if you find a date when it happened, it is not mentioned, it's eternity. So we all existed with God for eternity. But still it is said that Eko Bhushyam. Shyam only, Krishna only expanded into integrated part and parcel and separated part and parcel. Swamsa Bhivinamsa. So Lord only expanded himself. The date is not mentioned, it's eternity. So this is correct. Now, even the person has everything, but he wants to expand his kingdom everywhere. He doesn't want to just lie down and then think, okay, I'm an enjoyer, I'm everything. He wants to understand, now I want to play something. Because uh, some people say, some pain and gain. So Lord has really, somebody can think, Lord, because you created so many living entities, a lot of trouble you are having. You are going into the heart of living entities, and then you have to become Paramatma, means, and so many mistakes of living entities you have to tolerate, you have to inspire them for wrong thing also. Is it not problem for you? Why are all doing all these things? So it is said, Acharya says, scripture also says that it's not like a Atlas. Atlas, when he is handling the earth, he's just holding. So that is material conception. When Lord handles living entity and this world, he's not at all bothered. उनको कोई टेंशन नहीं है. He's not having Ceranon eating. उनको कोई सरदर्द नहीं होगा, अरे लिविंग एंटिटी ने तंग करके रख दिया मेरे को, थोड़ा दवाई खा लेता हूँ. It's not like that. He is a fully transcendental Lord. He is not bound by any kind of tension. He can immediately get relief and he can immediately also show some affection. दोनों भगवान कर सकते हैं. भगवान के लिए कोई भी चीज ये नहीं है. It's not an impossible thing. So because he's a Swarat, whatever he likes to do, he can do. If he likes to get free from tension, he can immediately get free. If he likes to get engaged also somewhere, he will get engaged. He's Swarat actually. So therefore he has full independence to do anything he likes. कुछ भी कर सकते हो. And when we compare with ourselves, why he has to expand himself? अरे he is Swarat बाबा, वो कुछ भी करेंगे. Now some reasons are given why he wanted to expand, but that can be reason. But he is a Swarat. Can you control a fully independent person with his desire? Why he should be doing all these things? No control. He wants enjoyment. He's full of, his whole body is made up of bliss. He wants to expand. He has no tension. कल को कोई प्रॉब्लम, जैसे हम लोग बिजनेस बढ़ाते हैं, हम सोचते हैं ज़्यादा बढ़ा दिया तो टेंशन हो जाएगा, तो स्लोली बढ़ाना है. हमारे लिए टेंशन है बिकॉज वी आर नॉट प्रोप्राइटर कंट्रोलर. एंड फॉर लॉर्ड देयर इज नो टेंशन. एनी टाइम ही कैन टेक बैक एवरीथिंग इनसाइड एंड एनी टाइम ही कैन टेक आउट. यू जस्ट सी द महाविष्णु एक्सेलिंग, बाहर आया, इनहेलिंग, अंदर चला गया, खत्म. और हमारे लिए क्या है? वी आर सो मच टेंशन. माई लॉर्ड, इवन 60-70 years is difficult to pass on this earthly planet. But for Lord, just by breathing, everything is finished. So Lord enjoyment is totally on different platform. Totally on different. At one place he is Paramatma in the body of a stool eating worm, and then at other side he is a Mahavishnu smelling inside and then taking everything inside. Who can understand him? Nobody can understand him. His personality is totally different. So therefore Lord is inconceivable, first thing. And whatever logic and reasons are told, just to understand, to make us understand that Lord wanted to enjoy, and he did. And we have to be satisfied. Otherwise he is a Swarat. कुछ भी कर सकते हो. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, why mostly Saraswati river has been in the Bhagavatam? Because see, here Saraswati river, because Saraswati is only flowing there, so they will not speak something else. No? Ganges and Yamuna also is mentioned, and so wherever the Saraswati actually is a very pure river, and we find it is also coming from Himalaya there, but now it is not visible. It has gone inside. It is not visible. So Saraswati river, like that. So it's factually there. That's why they are mentioning. It's not just to make some river appear. Therefore, they are giving some name. So Bindu Sarovar, the Saraswati river is there. Okay. We'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So next Saturday, Sunday.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. I have one
Hare
question.
Krishna, Dharat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dhan Pranam, yes. Dhan Pranam. Hare Krishna.